You are unmuted.
Call the meeting to order. This is a work session for the purpose of discussing the budget for this next year. If we can, let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll turn this over to Dr. Simcox and Ms. Lippert.
You all have in front of you a notebook with the budget. We are bringing you a balanced budget. So first of all, I want to thank Tina for all her hard work and that she puts into the budget. She does a great job. So thank you, Tina. But some of the highlights on the first page, we'll just go through, and then we'll go through the budget a little bit and then answer any questions that you have. In this budget, this is the 2021 budget, we do have the one-time $500 bonus for all non-certified personnel. You can see there what the amount is. That is out of GP.
When you see those figures, if you can, since we're streaming,
Okay.
if you can just
Go ahead and read them. Okay. And now that is the amount of $75,240. Again, that is out of the GP budget. No, that's not out of the federal budget. That's out of your all's budget.
And if you could, I hate to keep interrupting you, because we're streaming and a lot of folks might not be aware of what we've talked about. Can you explain why that is for non-certified only?
Yes, one of the things the board wanted to do is try to help, help all of our employees, but, help our non-certified as well. When you give a raise for the non-certified employees, they don't really receive as much as when they do with a bonus. So they wanted to be able to give an additional, of course, all of our employees have worked very hard, but the non-certified do see a little bit more benefit out of the one-time bonus.
The percent of raise doesn't equal when you get to the non-certified.
Right, the percent of raise doesn't even come close to what the one-time bonus would do. But this budget does also include a 3% pay increase for all employees, certified and non. For GP, which is your all's budget, that is in the amount of $265,612.02. It includes a 3% pay increase for all non-certified employees in the amount of $73,994.43. There is a 2% medical insurance increase that will begin in January. That is $72.44 increase per single policy, so that's in here, but it does not start until January.
Now, is that cost to the employee, or is that cost to the board?
To the board. You pick up the vast portion of the insurance. And there is a decrease in certified employee state retirement rate. It went from 10.63% to 10.27%. Non-certified rate remains the same at 6%. So we did see a little bit of decrease in state retirement for certified employees.
Is there an increase to the employee for the insurance?
No.
Okay, so theirs is
$30.
even. Ours is, we're picking up the cost of the increase.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And they pay how much?
$30 a month.
30 a month for a single. Okay,
Yes.
30. Okay.
For only 10 months. Yes, for 10 months.
Okay.
Because they are paid on 10 months.
Okay.
For the revenue, this budget includes BEP dollars in the amount of $13,480,000, and this is an increase from last year of $135,000. So that was something the governor had put in there, was the increase in BEP. We have approximately 149 positions that are funded through BEP. The rest are picked up either from GP or federal programs. There is an estimated property tax increase. We're estimated to get $2,569,252. This is an increase of $11,479.65. And the penny generation is going to be at a 94% collection rate. We will receive $29,875.02. And this is an increase of $133.48 from last year. So we wanted you, it's an increase, so we wanted you to know that.
So the difference between the 3% pay increase and the BEP dollars is about, so we're realizing really about $131,000 difference rather than the 265.
Right.
Okay, so they've helped us quite a bit.
Yeah, the BEP does help with that.
Let me stop for just a minute since we're all here now, if you would call the roll.
Mr. Carlton,
Here.
Mr. Long,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Here.
Mr. Payne,
Here.
here.
Sorry, I just wanted to wait for all of us to be here before we call the roll.
So any questions on that?
So Tina, the way I see this, if you add math and subtract and add and all that we're doing, there's quite a big increase when we do the 3% and the bonus.
Yes.
But then when we take the EP dollars and we take the property tax increase, we're down to about $269,000 with that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we're in pretty good. Well, I didn't even take the BEP dollars off of that. So yeah, I did. So we're better than we thought we would be in
Yes.
the startup. Okay.
So in other words, this is gonna be reserved monies, right? I mean,
Okay, so actually the only thing that we had to take out of, if you will turn over to behind the red tab, and this is kind of the meat of the budget. If you look at the first page, it's your revenue, and the next page is your expenditures. But if you will look where it says on the line 2, column 2, where it says reserves and or fund balances, $76,002. That's all that we actually had to use from fund balance or what would be going into reserves. So and that's less probably than we did for other years.
And it is.
So that's all that will be coming from your all's reserves, or from what would have rolled over into the new year to reserves, the 76,000.
you're all right, Tina.
And I can tell you that the employees are very excited to think of a possibility that they might get a raise or a bonus. I
They are
mean,
very
they're
appreciative.
very, very excited. So looking at this first page, it has 4 budgets rolled up into it. You have the general purpose, the federal projects, the central cafeteria, and the Head Start. The Head Start is just a continuation, but we have to approve it for the new year because she's on a calendar rather than a fiscal. The central cafeteria is Ms. Patty's budget. She is bringing you a balanced budget, and her budget is actually a decrease from last year. Her budget has gone down a little bit, and she's worked really hard. She's fed a lot of kids, and she still has a decrease in her budget. So is there anything you want to say about your budget, or any questions y'all have for Ms. Kathy?
Need to say a big thank you to you and your staff.
Yes.
And those other employees. That was a huge coordinated effort.
Sure was.
Yeah, we were, and just to say, we were doing things before other counties were doing things. We were busting food before Sullivan County even thought about it. So I really appreciate that. Even though it don't go out like the other counties does, it ain't in the paper like it should do. It does, and I appreciate it.
And then you were able to get a grant to continue for, what, 4 years for free?
Yes, actually working on the application to increase our CEP, which, the ISP, so it'll actually be like a 1.34 increase from home. And then that'll be locked in for 4 years.
Our lunches, our meals will be free to the students.
Breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch. That's great.
Wonderful.
You've done a great job.
Do you still have that lunch on the go?
Second chance for a
Second chance breakfast, yeah. Is that where it is, Mountain City? I thought it was at high school too. Yeah.
We started it at Mountain City, but
Okay.
it's not like second chance, like in between the block periods, but, we actually do one at Mountain City the same time that breakfast is in the cafeteria. We started that in December, so.
And then the middle school and high school have it in between.
Yeah, that's the program I was thinking of, yeah.
Okay, and then you'll see your federal projects, and that is a roll-up of all the federal projects that an application has so far been completed for. And if you look back behind your blue tab and your yellow tab, that's just the information that rolls into that. So you'll see that it's your Title I, your IDA preschool, Title I consolidated admin, Title II, Title V, Title I neglected, Title IV, and then also it includes Herbie's Carl Perkins. So you'll be, and later on, once the budget's approved and the other applications have come out, we'll bring more of those to you. But at this point, this is all we have. But that rolls into the second line. And then number 2 is your general purpose budget, and that shows your local taxes, your license, your charges. If you flip to the second page, page 2, you will see for each category, like how much is out of regular instruction, $7,701,600, alternative instruction, special ed. So there's a breakdown of each of the expenditure categories. But then if you go further back, if you have any questions, there is a breakdown of each of those. So like page 10, if you look at page 10, that's your regular instruction program, and column 2 will have a breakdown of each of those. So where you were looking at $7,100 was $701,600. This one will break that down for you. So you can see that teachers is $5,188,844 of this line item. So this is just a breakdown of category, but everything is totally broken down for you in the sheets that follow.
You got $30,000 in career ladder. Did that breakdown that we done 2 years ago, did that sort of diminish the career ladder?
Career ladder is really diminished.
Yeah,
like when I first came to this position, it was about $90,000, and each year, every time that we have retirees, and it's really going down.
Yeah, it's slowly. I think the last, I wasn't eligible for career ladder. I don't know if anybody in here was. I want to say 1997, 1998 when they stopped career ladder. So it's just catching those employees up that still have it, but there's not very many that, yeah.
And then, so that's just actually, the flow through. So in December and May, they send us tasks, and we pay it out to those teachers that are still on the career ladder list.
Is there anything on here that you had to cut this year?
The only one thing that we did is we went line by line, because we wanted to take the least amount possible out of fund balance. So no positions have been cut, but we did kind of go through and maybe a couple thousand, up to 5,000, maybe taken from a staff development line item, or from I know I had talked earlier with Dustin and Darwin, and they had a line that was rentals that hadn't been used. We took maybe a couple thousand of that, but there's no extreme cuts. Everything stays the same, but there also wasn't really anything that was added. Like Miss Paula has half of a special ed teacher. At this point, there's no major additions. And like I said, there was no major cuts, but we did try to find categories that had some extra in them to take out so that we didn't have to use so much of the fund balance.
Any other conversations?
I know that, I think Mr. Carlson may have mentioned, on the bottom of your budget highlights, there's a note that says on Tuesday, June the 9th, the Budget Committee meeting at 5:15 in the Johnson County Board of Ed conference room. This will be a virtual meeting. They are still doing virtual meetings or Zoom meetings that are held to 10 or less, and there's 7 of them, so that they've asked that only 3 people come. But Mr. Robinson said that if there's board members that will call in and that will give him the number, he will open your lines up so that you can make comments or ask questions.
Will they not have this auditorium set up?
They use the conference room. They just do the call in the conference room.
They don't do it like we do.
Yeah. So what he does is they do it in the conference room so that they have the phone line. And he said that, probably at the end of next week, he would send me the information to email to you all that has like the call-in number, the PIN, or whatever you may need to do that. But he said that if we'll let him know who's calling in and the number, he'll open up that line so that you can call me in or ask questions or anything like that. In the past, we've asked for a soft approval. What he's hoping to do that night on the 9th is to go ahead and get us a hard approval and to also get approval for the rest of their budget so that then he'll have it published in the paper. They'll go into recess and then hopefully they'll come back before the end of June and approve the budget.
Are we the last ones?
Yes. So normally it's, July or August before we have it. So they're hoping to have it by June. And a difference that would make is in the past, we can't start the increase until after the budget's been approved. So like the increase could be started in July rather than having to go back and do adjustments on the salaries. So they are trying to get things.
We don't anticipate any issues with this budget?
No. And we've worked hard with Russell, so
We've asked, Russell questions. We're not asking for anything. You all have suggested the increase and the bonus, but I think they're also going to propose an increase. So.
To there.
Yes. So I don't foresee any issues with it.
Are there going to be fewer teachers next year? I mean, how's our student population?
our student population's actually up a little bit.
Okay.
We don't have true kindergarten numbers right now, unfortunately, where we were getting ready to do kindergarten registration and pre-K Head Start registration when COVID hit. So they've had to mail in packets. And I think Rome Creek got, 10 in the past week? Yeah. We may have to add a kindergarten position, but that position is already in our budget. So, that's not an issue. But our enrollment's actually going up a little bit.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Was there any progress able to be made on childcare?
Not right now, because I think she told me yesterday, she's had 5 people come to her that they want to work. I know when I heard Chris McCarty come today and did a PD for all of us, and he said that he feels like the governor's going to go into phase 3 at the end of this month. If that happens, then that'll definitely help, because that'll lift the number of kids that can be in a space together. But no one, we've put it on Facebook, we've put it in Tomahawk, we've put it, he sent it to the Star, he sent it to the press, and we've not had it. And that's been our own employees that have reached out and said they'd be willing to work it.
If we did have 5, how many kids could we really
You gotta have someone sitting there that's logging their temperature when they come in, so that sort of takes their body away from a classroom. So in essence, you could have 4 classrooms, so 36 kids. But really, you couldn't do that because, see, they go from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. You have to have an employee from 6 to 12 and then one from 12 to 6. So that right there, you could maybe have 1 classroom of 9.
1 classroom of 9.
But essentially, for parents who are trying to plan things out, you're not looking like you're going to be able to have childcare.
No, it is not looking good for us.
You've made an effort.
We have made a very good effort.
An effort.
We have made an effort. We really have, and I've had it. We begged people. They just.
I mean, most people want to be able to plan, so it's kind of like at a certain point you got to say this isn't going to work.
Well, see, you got the employees that have done it
Yes.
several years, so
Yes.
they know it's there.
Yeah.
They know it's there.
Yeah.
I guess with the regulations, no.
Let me ask another question. The Shady School's not in this budget,
Correct.
so we need to try to get some resolution. Have they had any luck on their 401?
No, what they talked to me about is to go ahead and let the,
Cranberry Festival.
have it,
Okay.
because they can't get the 501(c)(3) done down in Nashville. I was gonna get a hold of Hill maybe tomorrow and see what while they're dragging their feet down there.
Does anybody have any objection to the Cranberry Festival? I don't.
I don't.
I mean, they have a 401c3, right?
Yeah.
And I have a copy of that.
So is that okay then with, I mean, you guys know the folks in Shady, is that okay with?
I think that was everybody's intention, but if I got what they were saying, the folks, and
Well, what
give
they,
it the Cranberry Festival, and then let the Cranberry Festival split it amongst them,
right,
their organization.
among the, was that preservation?
Yeah.
So if we all agree, I guess, then if we put that on the agenda,
I was gonna put that on the agenda for June, just to approve that.
then invite, but, you know, of course, we're still kind of
We're at-
blocked, but people still have access here, but
I'll call.
make that decision.
Get what we have to do to send Nolan to make it, to make sure we're legal. If you'll call Chris and ask
I will.
his opinion,
I will,
I'll call.
Then as quick as we do that, we could have Cockett
yes,
finish the contract.
right. I can't have Cockett finish the contract until you all approve for it to go to the Cranberry, so I would call him the next day. So hopefully that could be on the July agenda.
Is that satisfactory with everybody?
Sounds good.
Yes, me.
We'll put that on the June.
Because my concern was, but we don't have money in the budget for that. It's no longer school. What is the status of, removing anything?
We're gonna
Have
be doing that next week.
Okay. So, and you've worked with the Cranberry Festival as far as what's theirs and,
No, personally, I haven't. I've got maintenance coordinated and.
okay, but I mean, somebody is.
I think they've pretty well moved a lot of the stuff out of there.
Just want to make sure that we don't take anything that's not ours.
I know.
Sheena gave me a list.
Okay.
And I know, you know, Kathy had swapped some things out and they were good with that, so, I have that.
So what, I have another question. I don't mean to take all the time, but nobody's asking a lot of questions. I got one. So what are we ending up this year putting in reserves? Do we anticipate?
We really don't
It's
have
too early
any
to
idea.
Okay, so we've got to see what comes in.
Yes, Russell can, it'll probably be July before Russell can give us numbers.
But-
Because we still have expenses for June. Just looking through the budget, like, today we sat and looked at a couple line items and there's gonna be some there. I'm just not certain what it's.
But we're good.
Yes, oh yeah, we're good.
Yes, we're good.
Is there gonna be any shortfall of revenue coming in from the state due to this COVID-19 that you foresee?
We are not anticipating anything right now.
Not that we've heard.
And like, you know, the CARES Act, that hopefully that'll start flowing through. And so, and all of our drawdowns, when Serena and I draw down money, all those they're coming through quickly with the federal dollars, and then there's a few state dollars that we draw down, and there's no kind of hold on that. So everything seems to be flowing.
They were talking on the radio this morning that some states across the country might be affected, and, you know, there's going to be a shortfall in revenue for a lot of the states.
We've not had any indication yet, not that that couldn't happen, but there's not been any indication of that.
Has there been any discussion further about starting school?
Not from the State Department. They've not given any guidance. When we had our call with her on Wednesday, she said that in the following days or by next week, that they're going to send out some guidance with just some plans to help us prepare. But there's not been any information or facts given.
And as far as how this affects our budget, the virtual, the Pearson learning, I know we've been working with Nashville to get that finalized. Where are we at on that?
Heard back from Dr. Landon yesterday. He's looking at our revisions, and he's going to let me know, and then we have to submit that June 1st. So I feel like when he goes through his revisions, I feel like we'll really be good. But the one that's the Johnson County-based one, it is good.
So we're good on our school.
We're good on our school.
And
Stephen and Edna have actually been working closely with them and had several calls, so we're good on.
they committed money to us for the first year.
They did. For the first
Is
2
that in
years.
this budget?
That is
That is
not.
not in this
So
budget.
that is additional money that once this gets up off the ground, and that was pretty significant, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
What was that for the?
60,000.
That'll be pending approval from what we submit on the first.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand
But
that.
the local thing that the state didn't have to approve, and we're gonna have it up and running.
but for budget purposes,
That
we
is
have
one.
money coming in.
Yes.
We did
we do.
that. That's not, so. okay.
Yeah.
But that money will come in upfront, is that correct, or will it, is that what she said? I can't,
I can't remember what she said. I would assume it would come in at the end,
the end of the year.
but I can
She
follow up.
guaranteed us.
She did
Yeah,
guarantee.
she
us.
guaranteed, but I
That
can't,
is in writing. That is in writing in our contract.
I was thinking she said that 60,000 would come up front.
It might be.
I'm not sure.
They are anticipating, because of COVID, that 60,000 was a guaranteed minimum, as you've already said, because they weren't sure how many students they would enroll. But with something like COVID going on, programs like that are going to be in demand. So it could well be that we exceed the threshold of that 60,000.
That was my next question, because even our parents who might be concerned about their child going to school this year would have access then to Pearson. With us being local, and it works out really well.
Yeah.
They would technically have two options. They would have our local in-district option, and then they would have this Connections Academy.
And the other Connections Academy is already full. So any new students that apply will cover the Johnson County. You know, may exceed way above 2,000.
Anybody have any other questions, Joanne? Mike?
Where's the, yeah, it just popped in my head. Where's our technology?
The technology is 72250. So let me.
Okay, yeah, all righty.
For it.
What did we have planned for technology for this year? Didn't we talk about something in the 5-year plan?
We did. Really, we're working on our CARES Act program right now. We will be purchasing probably quite a few carts of Chromebooks to be able, so that will increase our student
17.
population.
100.
That's something we met about yesterday, but after hearing Chris talk today, we got a little bit of revision for it. So that's a huge part of our technology budget is going to come from the CARES Act, so.
There's another thing I was thinking about, at the beginning of the year, teachers setting up their classrooms and stuff. Do we give them like $200 to spend in their classroom? What's that dollar amount?
That's a state.
The instructional supplies and materials money, they get 200 per teacher.
200 per teacher, okay.
And then also the school gets like a matching amount. So if they need paper or whatever, they don't necessarily have to spend their money on that.
And then if, say, a teacher needed a printer or a monitor or something, could they?
Normally Rob is able to replace those. Like he will come and he'll ask, Dr. Simcox if he could do this and she finds it somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
we always find it.
we try to, I know,
We do.
we try to never turn them down.
Yeah, Rob can tell you that.
Is that easier now, Rob, that you have to wear a mask? Everybody has a mask?
I mean, I think we're better safe than normal are. We've been doing well the last few years.
We're in a lot better shape than a lot of systems.
Oh, yeah, we're a lot better shape, honestly.
Gary, you have anything? Do you have anything you want to add?
Herbie and Stephen have worked on, I guess, I know they've shared this information with you, just be able to utilize the surplus that's at the garage right now in the 1920 budget. So they wanted to share this information with
I
you.
want to tell you a little story. And I was wondering about the tire changer. When that bus garage blew up, I was on campus, and I was assured when they built that building that all the equipment that they needed would be in there. I said, tire changers and everything. They said, yeah, we need. So it didn't happen, and I didn't know that.
Well, it may have.
Who was that, Kevin?
There.
I'd say it was John Payne was elected then, and it was Bill.
There's an old one.
What now?
There's that the old,
I think you.
well, that one.
That's not heavy enough to do it first.
Bill Gentry would have been maintenance director, and John would have been superintendent.
And I was asked about a safety cage. They've got one.
Yeah, okay.
So go ahead, fellas.
Yeah, what we've done, we went through, we've got a lot of stuff
surplus, it's older stuff, junk, stuff that we need to get rid of. And we've prepared that for you so you can see what we have. And these will, of course, be put on Gov Deals, if y'all agree to let us put them on there. And there's pictures as they go up there with either the rust issues or whatever the problem may be. And we have a lot of stuff to get rid of. If you look down the list, the only thing on there that we may end up keeping for a little while, depends on how my culinary grant goes. Plus 43, I was thinking about keeping for a food truck. And if that's acceptable to you guys. And I want to give me a culinary teacher hired to see which direction they want to go. We may end up buying a trailer, so that bus would be for sale. So that's our surplus stuff as of right now, and you may see another list coming. The next page has the tire changer on there, and Steve can talk about that a little if he wants to.
Yeah, I'll talk briefly about that. So obviously this coronavirus COVID-19 thing has been horrible. Don't want to make it any other way, but you know, if you look for the silver lining in any situation, it was easy on our maintenance and transportation budget from the standpoint of diesel fuel and parts and other things like that. So we have a couple of needs, actually 4 specific that we want to bring before you. Herbie's going to talk about the vehicles. I'm going to talk about 2 pieces of tire equipment. Our guys change tires out by hand. They use sledgehammers and bars, and they jump up and down on them. And I'm not trying to be funny. That's how they do them. That's how they remove and reinstall them. And then, and I never knew this till this year. And then, unless they're still unless it's still the tires from the factory, they're not balanced. They've never been balanced. And that's a wear issue that causes a lot of vibrations at certain speed, which isn't good for bushings and suspensions, anything to do with a vehicle. So what we would like to do, you have there in front of you, is 2 pieces of Hunter equipment, which is really good quality equipment. The first one in the amount of $17,266.39 is the tire changer. And it'll do anything from our Explorers and vans all the way up to buses. It'll do anything we've got. It won't do aluminum, but in the event that we have something with aluminum, there's one in the shop at the high school. So we can do all of our tires in-house. And then the other piece of equipment in the amount of $13,532.03 is the balancer. And it, like with the other piece, it'll balance everything that we've got. And the $4,299.60 is the adapter kit that you have to have for all those different size tires to use that piece of equipment. So, and we do have, if you have questions about the specific lines or whatever, I would defer that to Tina. But we went through it together. She, Herbie and I, David, Dustin, and Darwin went through it line by line this morning to make sure we are not asking for any additional money. This is this year's budgeted money within this current budget. For that reason, glad that you said that, because that just reminded me. For that reason, we're purchasing this stuff off of state bid.
Okay.
Which means that we can purchase it. It's already been bid, because we do not have time to go through a bid process and spend this money by the end of this fiscal year. And so the vehicles that Herbie's going to talk to you about, this equipment here is state bid. And we've checked with Anderson, our auditor. We've checked with folks on the other end, like on the dealer end, to make sure that all that's on the up and up. And if you all give us the soft approval tonight, before we go to the June meeting for a final approval on this, we'll make doubly sure that everything's legitimate.
We'll send everything to the auditor and say, does this look good
Is
to
this
you?
okay?
Before, all they're saying is just attach state bid to the bid and say, this is our bid, state price, and he was good with that.
As long as it comes off statewide contract, I mean, you don't have no problem.
We should be fine.
Should be.
Should be fine.
And you're saying the money for this is the savings this year from where we didn't run buses?
That's a lot of it. Savings from where we didn't run buses, or just some other, like she mentioned, contracted services. We didn't need any. That was, I think, $4,800 in that line untouched.
And a
So
lot of,
some other things like
a lot of
that.
the others, you know, if you don't have students in the building, you don't have as many things to fix.
It was rental services was the line, but point stand.
And if you look at the vehicles, there's one in here for a Ford Transit Connect, and that's an extra long one. That would be used by Tim Hodge, and if you saw a white Dodge truck with the quarters or the rocker panels rusted out and some rust underneath, that's the one that we would be replacing with that. That way he could keep all of his electrical supplies in because he is our electrician.
So that is,
Is that the frame under that truck?
That's a picture of the rocker.
Go back to that one. That's the frame
I think
that,
that's the white Ford truck that's on here. It's rusted into.
Yeah, it's gonna be sold. It has a good utility bed on it. It's gonna be sold without the bed. We're gonna keep
The
the bed.
bed's worth more than the truck, so
Yeah,
we're
the
taking it
bed,
off.
yeah.
Is the utility bed still in pretty good shape?
Yeah, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna put it, the picture has the utility bed on it, but we're gonna post that it's to be sold without the bed. We're gonna take that bed off of it.
The only question that we had, we priced XL versions, you know, just the basic work vehicle. There's not any listed as we wanted left in state, and they say it's due to plant closures and different things. So we got the closest thing that we could find. So you'll see a $2,600 option on there. We didn't want that, but it's the cheapest and closest thing we can find. And if you look at the option, it's all safety stuff. And like the front of it's a cage to keep your stuff from flying up and getting it. It's stuff that we would have to fit it with afterwards. So we had a question about that, about options on a state bid. So I contacted a fellow by the name of Michael T. Neely, who is the Central Procurement Office Category Specialist with the state of Tennessee. And he said if it was on state bid, that we were good. And I got that on an email so that I'd make sure that we were good. But I would also like to present this, send them to Robert to make sure he's good with it too. But these are all vehicles that are on state bid. They just have little extras. We could not find the stripped down version anywhere.
this, Connect Cargo is the small way.
It's a small van, except it's extended. It has the cargo doors instead of the lift gate. Only thing we should probably have to fit it with is maybe some shelving on the inside. Besides that, it should be ready to go.
They came to ordering a stripped down version. The factory's been closed for 8 weeks. They just reopened it for a week, had some positive cases, and they closed it again. They closed it again for 2 weeks. He said they've had some orders from January that still haven't been filled. So we can do that, but we're hesitant.
Yeah, we can order the, they are.
Yeah.
And we can order the exact ones. It'll be 16 to 18 weeks if things go well. And, you know, if the auditor tells us to do that, we can proceed that direction. Because initially on the pickup truck that we're going to look at, I'd ask for a long bed, extended cab F-150 with the V8. There's not a long bed to be found. We've got a 6.5 foot bed. And the options, which are usable options on the truck, is a spray-in bed liner and running boards. I told him I wanted something no chrome. You know, I want a truck. We're going to use it for a truck. And I wanted a long bed because somebody comes to my house to work in a short bed truck. I don't assume they're going to do a lot.
Is this out of Murfreesboro? Is this out of Murfreesboro?
It is.
Call them and tell them to get on the, computer finder for this. Search all over the country. You'll find the pickup that you want in a long bed.
I will tell him. I have communicated. I've probably got a thread of 30 emails with this John Hamby on the top.
Tell him to get on the, locator, thing and find you a truck with a long bed. There are long bed trucks out there.
I will get back with it. But I didn't want any options, but that's the do, but it's $800. And you can still see the price on that. I think it says $28,581, and that's a 4-wheel drive truck.
Some of that line talk a salesman will give you.
Well, and one of the things I thought, you know, call them up and say, we'd be more than glad to give you state bid for these vehicles, but we're not paying for the options, and seeing what they said. That way we might get some extras. I don't know if they'll go for it or not, but I would love to take these
You
vehicles.
could do the same thing on that van up there. If you didn't want those options, then find you a van that you wanted, put it on the, funder's list, and they'll find you a van if they want to sell it.
I did not have pictures to show you of the Connect van because it's not on their lot. He said he would have to bring it in. The pictures for the truck is he's got 2 of those actually on his lot.
He just wants to get rid of what he's got in his inventory.
I will be more than glad to reach out to him and tell him, but that's what we're asking for. By the looks of what you see on television there,
not gonna be long till we have to replace them regardless. And we had the money this year. We wait till another time, we're gonna have to come back and ask you for it in addition to our regular funds.
So you're needing kind of a soft approval as far as,
Before we proceed with this, and I can reach out to them and tell them that's what we want and make sure everybody's good, but we just wanted y'all to know what we're trying to do and make sure that was acceptable.
The worst case scenario, we can order it. We just might be September, October before we get it.
he may not be in school until September, October.
See how full his lot is, a little white truck. Well, there'll be some other dealer out there that's got that same truck in the long bed.
And I didn't tell you what we were doing, as far as movement around except for Tim. Tim would take the Connect van, the large truck, the F-250 crew cab would move to the mowing truck, and you saw it up there for, so it would go, and Mr. Carver would get the F-150 as far as what we would be driving. That green truck right there, I drove it back from graduation Saturday with that trailer behind it, not safe.
We believe that was Mr. Gentry's truck. Seriously,
I think it was.
that's a 94. That's a 94 F-350.
And I think it was not you, but,
And we was gonna let the salt spreader and the blade go with it because we couldn't find the adapter kit for a new truck and the blade, and that salt spreader's enormous. You know, we may have blizzards for the next 10 years, but we've not used it much for the past 10.
I started saying, oh,
The only time that we generally use that's if they're wanting to have a ball game and the weather's a little iffy. That's about it.
If we did get one without that option, we'd still need to put the screen in there, wouldn't we? The screen
Yes, we'd
protection.
have to build one.
How much would that cost?
You're looking at probably $300 or $400 to build one.
Okay.
I do like the fact that that one's got one in it because that's factory and it's safe.
And it's got the rubber floors.
I first looked at it and thought, why would you need a backup camera and such? But if you're looking out the back of a van and you've got it full of supplies, that might be a handy option also.
Yeah,
Necessity on the van.
that might be something we wanna consider. I don't know.
The options on the van didn't bother us as much as not getting the truck that we wanted. So we can go
Okay.
back to.
Yeah,
hunting for-
okay.
We can go back to hunting for the truck. Even if we have to.
Gary, what do you think?
What?
We're gonna ask everybody to give them the soft approval.
Yeah, I'll give them soft approval as long as you get the long wheelbase truck. That's the main thing. There's no sense in buying a short wheelbase truck. It's feasible.
Even if we have to order it, you're good.
But no, you don't have to order. There's a dealer out here that's got it. I don't care what this salesman's telling you.
We've only got,
Get on my computer and probably find you that truck.
you probably can, but we have to cooperate with him because he's one of the 4 dealers in the state that we can buy from.
I know that,
So we have to get them to get it for us.
but he can get it for you. Yeah. And you tell him, get on, the finder's list, they know where they're at. But he just won't get rid of what inventory he's got.
Give it a shot.
Okay. You're talking to a car dealer right there. He's done it before.
Okay, so Mr. Matheson's good, Mr. Long's good, Ms. Reese,
I'm good.
Payne,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
okay, and I'm good, so there you go.
Thanks, sir.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Budget wise, we look like we're in fairly good shape, provided there's no surprises this
Yes.
year. All right,
And we do need
You want one?
We just do 4 days.
okay, so. And we posted this as a called meeting. So we're gonna go into a called meeting. And I need a motion to approve the school budget to include all budgets, general purpose school, federal projects, central cafeteria, Head Start, and to authorize Dr. Simcox and Ms. Lifford to add local revenue estimates, reserves, fund balance, final BEP estimate, and pre-K amounts when they become available.
I make a motion to approve it.
Got a motion from Mr. Payne, second from Mr. Long. Any discussion? You know, I want to say thank you and Dr. Simcox for hard work and whoever else helped you put all this together.
And thank you all. We
Yes,
appreciate
thank
you all.
you very much. Happy employees, we do appreciate it.
Okay, if we will, let's, call the roll.
Mr. Long,
yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson.
Any other matter? Well, we can't take any other matter. All these are budget issues. Okay, then we're gonna adjourn. Now, got a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Good job, Joanne.
for right now.